Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, February 27th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We will be having a Time for Change call this Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Not everything that is faced can be changed, yet nothing can be changed until it is faced. This life is meant to be filled with challenges, which are simply opportunities in disguise. This is the cosmic setup that causes everyone to evolve and grow. The real battle we are here to engage with is not with another person, organization, or country. This type of consciousness is old school and how the modern day Neanderthal mind thinks. The more enlightened being is a deeply responsible and sensitive creature who knows the real war is fought and won within themselves. This being knows that wherever their inner conflict resides is where the greatest war lives. Once you can find a true sustainable, and I emphasize sustainable, inner peace that remains regardless of the situation or circumstances you're given, then you've found something that will truly make you a master of this world. The truth is that we are all addicted to something. Every single being on this planet, excuse me, is facing some form of addiction on some level. You may be addicted to physical things such as food, money, drugs, caffeine, alcohol, cigarettes, or sex. Or you may have worked through all physical addictions, and your addictions are on an etheric dimension. You yourself are your own obstacle. Rise above yourself, prophets. Meaning, you may be addicted to certain thinking patterns, like constantly searching for your soulmate, thinking about having a richer lifestyle, or repeating the feelings of shame, guilt, unworthiness, and neediness. You could be addicted to a distant memory from your past, or waking up every morning with the same thinking patterns. You could be addicted to a sabotaging pattern of thoughts about yourself and behavior towards others that feels like it will never change. The addictions to thought patterns are much harder to recognize, and this society may support you in remaining addicted to them. Nobody wants to suffer alone, so the tendency is to give others praise for having the same addiction that you do. Whatever addictions you have or are in denial of having, don't judge yourself for it. Whatever you're addicted will not change if you criticize yourself for it. The addiction is serving a deeper purpose, and so we must ask a deeper question to meet it, such as, are you willing to transcend it? The existence, there is nobody, in existence, there is nobody who is superior and nobody who is inferior. The blade of grass and the great star are absolutely equal. Also, what makes someone an addict versus a user or abuser depends on their level of avoidance of pain and their attachment to pleasure. An addict won't take a few focused minutes to dive into and through the hard, stuck feelings they have inside. They'll find a happy distraction that lets them avoid their feelings. The mobile phone, alcohol, tobacco, cannabis create an entertaining escape which provides a temporary sense of relief. Have you ever noticed people with their smartphones? You know how many are addicted to their smartphones? It's amazing. And it is an addiction. This is the danger of AI. The addiction is then slowly formed from the habitual escape route of doing that which does not allow you to face those unhappy feelings you want to ignore, fix, or bury deep inside. The addict has found a comfortable velvet rut in this world of avoidance and has accepted the idea that their habit is simply who they are. Never reject or despise anyone. Even if your enemy comes to have a conversation with you, accept and welcome him in peace. The wise will turn even an enemy into a friend. A fool will turn even a passionate lover into an enemy. Always choose to be wise. Prem Tehan, Shafik. The addict stops reinventing themselves and lives in a dead, fixed ego paradigm that is not open to a field of infinite possibilities. Once you find out what it is you're addicted to, ask yourself one or all of these questions. Every morning, they will help you to regain your awareness of the conscious, sensitive being that you truly are. Who am I without this addiction in my life? Who would I be if I were truly free from this addiction this weekend? What would I like to creatively do with this extra time, energy, or money that was once spent on this addiction? When I'm free from this addiction, what does my face look like in the mirror? How will my heart feel once it is liberated from this addiction? See, these are all questions that one would ask themselves. Who am I without this addiction in my life? And when we're talking about addiction, we're talking about all kinds of things. Who would I be if I were truly free from this addiction this weekend? What would I like to creatively do with this extra time, energy, or money that was once spent on this addiction? When I'm free from this addiction, what does my face look like in the mirror? How will my heart feel once it is liberated from this addiction? Peace is the inner nature of humankind. If and when you find it within yourself, you will then find it everywhere. Ramon Morishi. It may take weeks or months to find your answers. Yet keep asking these questions over and over until your mind becomes crystal clear on what your personal answers are. Freedom from addiction starts with being a warrior for the truth of who you are. You are not your addiction, no matter how bad it seems. The running water of a stream is not the old riverbanks which keep it flowing in the same directions. Who you really are is a constant flow of energy and consciousness. It just so happens that your thoughts and feelings keep moving in this one particular repetitive pattern. Selfishness is not living your life as you wish. It is asking others to live their lives as you wish. Oscar Wilde. Selfishness is not living your life as you wish. It is asking others to live their lives as you wish. If you really want to liberate yourself, start with finding out what your deepest emotional need is that you are not getting met. What feeling is your heart really longing to experience in this life, yet is being masked over by this addiction? Make a list of what feelings, thoughts, and sensations you most want to experience. And notice what it's going to take so that they are actually the priority over your addictive habit. If you have to have something, or someone in this world in order to be happy, then that addictive thing, experience, or person can only cause you to feel powerless in its presence. If you cannot easily say no and be at peace inside with it or without it, then it is destroying your ability to manifest your dream life. If you cannot easily say no and be at peace inside without it, then it is destroying your ability to manifest your dream life. The actual powerless experience is what you've become addicted to and is the real culprit. The physical substance is just a cover-up, hiding those not-so-happy feelings you are trying to avoid. The real saboteur, however, is the unconscious rut you're willing to live in every day. If you try to push away an addiction without understanding the root of it, you'll only replace it with another better addiction, or return to the old habit a few months or years later, when a stressful life situation arises. The reason for this is that the unconscious mind is still associating pleasure with the addictive substance. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. Lao Tzu. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. It is only when you bring consciousness into your actual habit that you discover that you've already transcended it. You find this old repetitive pattern is just lowering your energy and actually not giving you the joy your heart is longing for. Only through consciously meeting the habit can the mind wake up and truly stop returning to the substance for its pleasure fix. By bringing a conscious state of pure curiosity into your habitual experiences in this life, your consciousness will naturally unravel this pattern and slowly free you from the addicted identity you've molded around yourself. This is love, to fly toward a secret sky, to cause 100 veils to fall each moment. First, to let go of life, finally, to take a step without feet, Rumi. When you bring consciousness into any experience in this life, you transcend the experience, no matter what it is. You stop identifying yourself with the experience and the experiencer, having the experience. Something transcendental happens to you. Grace opens the doors for you to enter the divine. You find that you are the awareness that is beyond all experience. You must learn a new way to think before you can master a new way to be. You must learn a new way to think before you can master a new way to be. Marion Williamson. By consciously experiencing the substance that makes you high and crave for more, you have to surrender every bodily sensation to the experience deeply and completely. Once your body has fully digested the experience, it will naturally let go on its own accord. For example, if you're addicted to smoking cigarettes, each time you light one up, do this smoking meditation. Bring all your senses to your experience of the cigarette. Here's how it would go. Consciously inhale the smoke deeply into your lungs. Let the smoke fill your entire being from head to toe. It's best to smoke alone so that you will not be disturbed by anyone or anything. Hold the intention to fully explore your addictive substance, as if you were going on a date with your most intimate best friend. Get to know this smoking energy intimately, and whatever you do, don't let the mind focus on anything else but the experience of smoking. Each puff of smoke is a very rich experience, and you'll want to remain present with it. Just notice how your throat and lungs feel each time you take a puff. Feel all the sensation it brings to your body. Don't let your mind make any assumptions, expectations, or get distracted by anything but your smoking experience. This is the golden key to transcending your experience, and it can work with any addiction. Once the mind has brought full waking consciousness into your experience, it is fulfilled and doesn't need to repeat it in the future. It then becomes effortless and easy to give up your addiction. Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Pema, children. Your system is brilliant, and it simply knows a deeper level what the greatest joy life has to offer. Once you are truly fulfilled with an experience, you may try to return to do it again many times, yet you won't be able to. You'll be satisfied and satiated. When you consciously allow yourself to experience any toxic substance fully and are completely surrendered to the damage it does, it can no longer have a grasp on you. You can't change the truth, but the truth can change you. So please use common sense with this exercise so you don't overdose on any substance. Physical death would defeat the joy of transcending your addiction. It is the suffering ego that wants to die, not you. This is getting curious about what you can do to bring more love, joy, and consciousness into your life. You are the master of your mind. You are always the conscious chooser behind each choice you make. There is nothing forcing you to continue having your addiction except your own unwillingness to see it for what it really is. If you really want to let it go bad enough, you will find a way to get over it. You already know that it's not good for you. Yet when you let this deeper unfulfilled need be met from way down inside, your craving will completely lose its drive. You will know exactly where you can find pure joy and happiness again. So be honest with yourself about your feelings. Be real with your pain. Find out what truly soothes you. This is the fastest way to finding true freedom and actually transcending any addictive habit. If light is in your heart, you will find your way home, Rumi. Addiction as on this planet Earth. Addiction cannot find a place to live a life that is filled with joy, appreciation, and gratitude. To truly defeat addiction in the short and long haul, you will need to increase your vibration and skyrocket your energy so high that you are naturally uplifted about your life. Life is already so amazing in its ordinary state without a toxic substance. The key is the level of consciousness you are bringing to your experience of this life. A life filled with consciousness is a life of mastery, lightness, and love. You will find success in everything that you do. And only through consciousness can you discover that you have the power you need to move beyond any addiction. All things are created twice. There is a mental or first creation and a physical or second creation to all things. Begin with the end in mind, Stephen Covey. All things are created twice. There is a mental or first creation and the physical or second creation to all things. Begin with the end in mind. My invitation for you this week is that you bring a deeper inquiry and curiosity into what you are addicted to. Could be anything. Could be addiction to your smartphone, computer. Many things. Befriend your addiction so that you get to know yourself on a much more intimate level. Discover what painful feeling or memory this habit is covering up for you. Look at what you most want to feel. Dig deep inside yourself. Let your addiction be the guide that pushes you deeper within. Let it entice you to understand who and what you really are. There is an amazing strength inside you that is powerful enough to let go of your addiction. by getting to know yourself on a very deep, meaningful level, you're taking back the reins and empowering yourself with the strength to let it all go. The discovery of who you truly are is huge, and maybe the main underlying reason your soul decided to take on this habit in the first place. Love is the answer. We all need support on some level, and digesting positive, uplifting information is one of the best ways to help shift your consciousness quickly in the right direction. So when you look at, you watch things yourself, right? And why do so many people, you can see it, and when we see it all around us, they're so engulfed in their smartphones. They don't know what's going on around them. They have no clue. Just that screen, texting, and you remember when we didn't have smartphones? You remember? What did we do? We talked with each other. We communicated physical to physical, mind to mind, heart to heart. But see, so many of us find the smartphones, the pads and everything else, it's our escape from having to have communication with others on a one-to-one basis. This is what AI does to a civilization. It separates them, even though they can't be separated. So people, when they think of addictions, they think of the regulars, right? You know, substance abuse, alcohol, drugs, all of that stuff, sex. But that's a small portion of it. There's people that are addicted to darkness, can't stand the light. There's people that are addicted to light, can't stand the dark. I mean, there's people addicted to so many different things. It is just absolutely astronomical. There's people addicted to driving, right? There's people that are addicted to judging others. It's a satisfaction and an escape. There's people that are addicted to all the negative information on the planet. They find themselves not being able to get away from it. They find themselves gravitating towards it. That's an addiction. It isn't a negative. It's being able to identify it and then to go deep enough within to understand why. What is it about this? What does it cover up for you? There's people addicted to food. We see that, right? The food mind. There's people addicted to anger. They aren't happy unless they're angry. But the key is that we choose to go within and find out, have a real deep conversation with the addiction to understand why you have it. And this isn't judging yourself or anything. It's a discovery. This is why over half the people in this country are addicted to some form of drug, even the medicines. Some people are addicted to ice cream only. It goes on and on and on. And it's the challenge to motivate you to go deeper within in order to face it and understand it. Once you face it and understand it, you're able to leave it. Why does someone drink profusely? Why do they drink profusely? Why do they drink every day, every morning, every night? Because it gives them a false comfort zone. It gives them a false sense of protection. They're able to escape temporarily, they believe, their problems and situations rather than facing them. And believe me, I have worked with those kinds of people. And you really get a bird's eye view on how far they have hidden themselves. It's no different than someone who is addicted to crack. It totally consumes them, their bodies, everything. Now understand something, that processed sugar on this planet is several times more addictive than crack cocaine. Think about that. Now, of course, you would say, well, food, it's a food. But it's an addiction for the people in this country. And people, if they don't get it, they become irritable. Why do we create these things? Because we create them for ourselves. Why do we do that? Some of us never get out of the habit, and we leave the body, and the body's still having the habit when we leave it. I'll give you an example. People, let's say that in one lifetime, they were starved a lot. They didn't have the opportunity to eat much food at all due to certain circumstances and the time that life took place, right? So they were very thin, emaciated, and they were struggling constantly to try to find enough food to sustain their bodies. Now, they leave that life, and they come into a new life. And it's not all the time, but on occasion, you will find a person can't get enough food. They overeat. They become large, to say the least. And that happens based upon a previous life. Someone in another life who overeats becomes large, and they leave that body with that addiction, will find themselves in the next life, in certain instances, not wanting to eat a lot, always concerned about not eating much, because they're so fearful of becoming large again, like they were in that past life. And it has nothing to do with the life they're in. It has everything to do with the residual that they carried with them in that past life into the new life. See, these addictions go from lifetime to lifetime, and they're imprinted. Sometimes when we move into other bodies, we bring that essence because we experienced that life, right? So we bring some of that essence, and it kind of overflows into that life, the current life. And it's because we never face these issues and don't understand them. And it's one of the main reasons why we do them. And this isn't about, people starting to reevaluate themselves and judge themselves and say, well, I wonder if this is an addiction because I do it all the time. Well, you'll find that out when you ask yourself. That's why it's interesting, because in our lives, to not do the same thing every single day exactly the way you do it every single day. Don't do the same thing every single day. Shift it. Put it in a different order. But that's an addiction of life. It is a comfort that keeps you from expanding out, and it develops a comfort zone that most people never leave, which is an addiction. Which then stops us from growing, see, because we don't care to step outside of that circle of addiction, which is it's our comfort zone. And you don't, to break the habit of that, you do little things, not huge, but little things. You'll say to yourself, because you're cognizant and aware of these habits, right? And so they don't become an addiction. You say, I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to do it in a different order, right? And you'll find that you begin to expand more, grow more. But when you sit in that comfort zone, which it becomes an addiction because you get to the point where you just don't dare step outside of it, and you're blocked, and you feel very nervous and upset and worried if you do step outside into doing something that you're not familiar with. You ever done that? We all have. We're not exempt from it. Where we literally say to ourselves, no, I'm not going to do that. I have no idea how. I have no idea how to do that, so therefore I'm not going to do it, and I'm going to withdraw from it. So what are you going to tell people? Say, come on out, let's go. Even as a kid, right? And the kid, you're younger, and a group of your friends say, come on, let's go do this. No, I don't want to do that. I'm fine right here. Right? And see, we become addicted, period, to certain things. And a lot of times we don't know we're addicted to certain things. We just go about our way. But isn't it interesting? It gives you comfort to do the same thing day in and day out. Right? Familiar with it? It's not out of the ordinary. So you continually do the same thing. Most of the time we're not aware of it. We've gotten in such a habit of the same thing every single day. Nothing. You don't go outside of it, right? You get so entrenched in it. On Mondays I do this, and then on Tuesdays I do this, and then and then when you start looking at it, you say, well, I seem to do the same thing every single day. And there isn't anything wrong with it. But why do you think people get so bored? Why do you think they look at life and they say to themselves, well, this life is so boring. It's got to be more than this. But when you do the subtle changes and shifts, knowingly, right, it becomes a lot more. It's like sprinkling a little extra spice here and there than when you normally wouldn't. So we flavor it. We flavor things. Sometimes the flavor isn't that great. So say, I'm not going to do that again. Other times the flavor is phenomenal. You say, yeah, I'll probably do that again. But this is all about this whole life that we're in currently is all about discovery of who and what we are. And along with that, with this body, comes in all these other things that we explore. And one of the biggest blocks for any of us is that we don't love ourselves. And we've been trained by this society and other people's thoughts to feel that way. We don't truly love ourselves deeply. Because if we did, we would have no concern about what other people think of us, say to us, or anything. It would like water off of a duck's back. It just wouldn't stick with us, wouldn't be an issue. We wouldn't be concerned about society judging us and telling us what we can and can't do. Right? We wouldn't worry about all of that stuff that is an illusion anyway. Because when you deeply, eternally love yourself, you don't have these addictions. They don't exist. You enjoy life, of course, but you don't go overboard where it begins to harm you, the body. You go swimming, right, to enjoy the water, but you don't swim for 5-6 hours straight. That's the difference, eh? Where the body becomes so tired that you end up sinking to the bottom. Because thoughts are always flowing, moving, and creating our experience of life in each new moment. Each moment of this life is so fresh and new that it behaves much like a blank canvas, and you can paint anything you want on it. I've had people get a blank canvas. Literally do that. Get some paints. This doesn't mean they were artists. And get some paint and stuff and just start drawing and painting whatever they wanted. It's like a cathartic. It's a release. You could suddenly choose to paint a sailboat and imagine it taking you into a new direction of your life by pointing your inner rudder towards an entirely new dream distraction and life goal. You could choose to give up years of financial struggle and shift into thinking, feeling, and becoming a highly effective manifester in just a few minutes by merely holding your intention or integrating this manifesting mindset without a single doubt entering. You will rewire the neurological and neuronal pathways in your brain and begin amplifying the manifesting magnet hidden within you. When your entire being is completely alert and relaxed, feeling sweetly centered in the core of your body, the mind becomes very quiet and very, very, very still. When you can relax enough and let a continuous river of confident, peaceful things come flooding inside, you'll start to realize how you are already attracting and creating your dream life. Then you can feel into your deepest connection with this life, and where the most intimate personal realization is discovered that this enormous manifestation power is your very nature. From this paradigm, you know there is an unlimited amount of energy all around you, and anything is possible. There is enough energy in a single cubic meter of space. And I say this a lot so it finally sinks in with people so that they correlate and understand what this means. There is enough energy in a single cubic meter of space to boil all the oceans in the world. Richard Feynman, scientist. The problem we encounter, and see, with habits, addictions, we manifest everything. And the problem that we each encounter in manifesting our dream life is that the mind actually enjoys getting caught up in the world of distractions. It revels in the dramas that have some form of lack and limitation. It loves having excuses and fears to overcome, as well as doubts, disbelief, and worry to rise beyond. The mind tends to ignore your real power, because if it didn't, we would have to stop feeling part of society and be an outcast feeling excluded from the powerless trip that a majority of people on this planet seem to linger in. Ultimately, the mind doesn't care to become too much like the black sheep who doesn't fit in with your community of people who get you, as that is not a safe form of survival. This blinded mind is resistant to seeing how this universe is constantly working for us and not against us. This is another huge law to realize and abide to. Life is inherently benevolent and has this natural tendency to send an abundance of good things your way. The mind will not always see it, and some minds cannot see it at all. Yet, this life is always working to help us grow, evolve, mature along our spiritual paths. Perhaps you may have forgotten this is why you are here and got caught playing in the world of trying to manifest things and overcome doubt. When this concept becomes a self-realized way of being in your life, miraculous things will begin to showing up from nowhere. If and when you are ready to totally break free from all limiting mindsets and transcending all stuck, old-fashioned beliefs around manifesting, the following avenues will begin to open up. People believe, you say to someone, stop trying to manifest. Realize that you already are a super powerful manifesting machine. You don't have to try so hard to manifest what you want. Just relax. Enjoy the ride. Allow your desires to unfold on their own accord. Like anything in this world, if we are gripping on too tightly and trying too hard, we are living without trust and obscure the goal, making life much more challenging than it truly is. Trying comes from hoping, which eventually leads to hopelessness and desperation, struggle, and fruitless results. The trying energy contains the ingredients of fear, insecurity, and a feeling of lack in this divine connection within you. The manifesting magician in you is powerful because he or she is relaxed, trusting, and knows the core is already perfectly aligned with this divine creative connection. There is no doubt, hesitation, or anxiety inside. There is only the deep knowing and belief in the law of attraction. Positive outcomes on the outer result from positive feelings on the inner. When we follow this magical formula, our lives can only develop greater wisdom, love, abundance, and freedom. Power is choice. It's a choice. Don't be afraid to use your manifesting power because it is needed on your path to find true freedom. Real freedom is not available for those who deny their power and choose to remain in their own internal prison. These are people that will say, I don't have that. I don't have this. Oh, yeah, sure. They dismiss it, right? Almost angrily. And the people who are living the life of their dreams, and there are those right in this moment on this planet doing that, are doing so because they chose to empower themselves by believing in their dream. A very firm decision was made inside themselves that this one life is not going to last forever, and they must take advantage of this creative opportunity while it is here. Only from a conscious, empowered place can we open up to receiving the most rich, loving, abundant, healing experiences life has to offer. We are already intimately connected. Success in this life can only manifest through being connected to the one universal source. All failure, poverty, and sickness in this life comes from feeling and thinking we are separate from this one source. When the mind and ego gets in the way, believing it is superior or inferior, it blocks the manifesting flow of energy. Manifesting comes naturally and effortlessly to those who are not creating a division in themselves, thinking any part of them is unloved, unwanted, abandoned, or unworthy of success on any level. The moment we separate ourselves, we negate our connection to Source and meet head-on with strife and struggle. Feeling connected to the one universal God Source is the foundational ingredient needed for becoming a master of manifesting. From the master's perspective, desires may manifest or they may not manifest. And it really doesn't matter. The master doesn't care so much about the desired physical outcome because the real goal, to feel connected with God right now, is always the same. Enjoy this moment and be happy. The essential goal of this life is to be happy. When we are aligned with this, life aligns with us. You ever notice that? Magical things manifest when we are deeply happy inside with who we are, exactly the way we are, and the way our life is. When we are not attached to thinking that manifesting our desires is then going to make us unhappy. Is it going to make us happy? When we are not attached to thinking that manifesting our desires is then going to make us happy, then we are free. The manifesting master inside us knows, of course, that we may become momentarily happy when a desire manifests, yet this happiness is minuscule compared to the deeply loving sensation of being connected to the infinite source within, the God, and being detached from the outcome. Whenever we are attached to a certain outcome to bring us happiness, we are coming from a fearful, needy place and ultimately feeling disconnected to our source. When we are simply relaxed with ourselves, at home in our being, able to rest in our hearts, we naturally feel connected with our source. This spiritual connection is already the foundation of our being. And finding mastery within it is simply realizing what you already always are. This divine connection really boils down to a moment-to-moment choice in this life. We are always choosing in each moment if we are or aren't connected. We are always choosing if we're coming from trust or fear. Our entire reality is defined in this now moment. We can choose to be happy, feel deeply at peace, empowered, and grateful for our lives just as they are. We are the eternal choice maker of how we interpret the feelings arising in us and the thousands of thoughts passing through us. Attachment is the most powerful way to stop your desires from manifesting. Attachment is happening every time your body feels tense, tight, stressed, confused, upset, or grumpy. Every time you are not experiencing great joy, you are attached to something. It will feel like you are swimming against the river, upstream, fighting the current, trying to force something to happen by pure will alone. What's the payoff you're getting for remaining attached to these desires, dreams, or beliefs? Find out what it takes to let go and trust in the divine process of this life. Whenever you feel anything that is not connected to ease and joy, just ask yourself this simple question: what am I attached to? Your freedom and enlightenment is as simple as that. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in from the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Welcome whatever you're running from. What are you afraid of? Look deeper inside. When you welcome your fear in, you're not afraid of it anymore. And then a most blissful, expansive feeling finds you. Welcoming your fear is the most sacred, secret way to transcending it, rediscovering that truth. Everything contains the divine. In the eternal game of life, the thing that we are running from eventually becomes the thing we run towards. Who knew the greatest treasure would be hidden underneath the very thing we all wish to banish from our lives? May you have the courage today to welcome just one fear that you're still avoiding. And just remember one last important thing. There is no need to conquer anything in this life or even face a single fear when you, yes you, realize that you're not what you fear. You realize that you are God. You are pure consciousness itself. I love how the fear contains the freedom and the darkness amplifies the light. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Tuesday, February 28th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times, and practice being in deep gratitude. We will never run out of things to be grateful for.